The Nation of Yahweh presents The Unfolding Light. Today's show is brought to you by Builders of the Highway Foundation, Yahweh Life Center, Neo Jazz School of Music, Yahweh Education Centers, and the Temple of Brothers and Sisters of Goodwill. And now for your host, Dr. Lud Yisrael.
Boker Tov and Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to another edition of The Unfolding Light. I am your host, Dr. Lud, along with my co-host, Sister Tamar. Boker Tov, sister.
Boker Tov and Shabbat Shalom, family.
Praise Yahweh. As always, it is a great and wonderful and glorious day to know Yahweh, to know his son, Yahweh ben Yahweh, our Redeemer, our Messiah, our Reformer. He reclaimed us, he redeemed us, he resurrected us, and he put us on that path of righteousness and on the path of moving into the new city, New Jerusalem. Today on Unfolding Light, we'll have Who is Yahweh by the Most Honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh. Directly after that, we'll have a keynote message from the Master Teacher, the founder of the Nation of Yahweh, the Most Honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh. Directly after that, we'll have a keynote message from the Master Teacher, the founder of the Nation of Yahweh, the Most Honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. And now for our prayer. If we will all stand and face the east with outstretched hands, O Yahweh, God of our salvation, save us, gather us together, and deliver us from this heathen, so that we may give thanks to thy holy name and glory in thy praises. Blessed be the holy name of Yahweh and Yisrael forever. O Yahweh, let them be confounded that persecute us, but let not us be confounded. Let our enemies be dismayed, but let not us be dismayed. Bring upon our enemies the day of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. O Yahweh, forgive our fathers for breaking your laws, and please forgive us for breaking your laws. Help us to never bring shame upon thy great name, nor reproach against thy works. For surely we have turned ourselves to thee, O Yahweh, trying to be upright. And as we confess our faults, please grant us protection against all of our faults. Cleanse us of our secret faults, and guide us to the best of morals. For surely our prayers and our sacrifices, our lives and our deaths, are all for thee, O Yahweh. Tefillah. Avenu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Tavo Malkuteraka, Yad Zerizonka, Kim Vashemayim Kain Ba'aretz, Et Lekem Kukenu, Tain Lanu Hayom, Uslat Lanu, All Kartienu, Kimosasol King, Gamanatnu, Lakotiem Lanu, Veal Tevienu, Lade Nisayom, King Kal Senu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tefieret, Leolame, Olamin Sila. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. So let everything that has breath praise Yahweh.
Remember that this is the morning of the third day, and I shall rise again. I am the resurrection. All of prophecy tells you that I shall rise again. It's all about that. Luke chapter 2, verse 34. No doubt about it. Again, I love you forever, bless you forever. I remind you once again, my associates are children of the light. That just brings laughter to my heart, to my soul, to realize that at last I have those of you that love peace. And I only want to be in the presence of those of you that love peace. I love you forever. Shalom Aleichem.
Praise Yahweh. So who is Yahweh? Yahweh is a name that you should know, because it's the duty of the Son of God to proclaim his Father's name. And here you have a whole bunch of people going to church, 400,000 churches, and they don't know the name of the Father. They say such silly things like, Father, God, help me. Both of them titles. Father is a title, God is a title. Who's going to answer to that? The purpose of the coming of the Son is to reveal the name of the Father. That's who he prayed to, our Father, and he called his name. He said, hallowed be, holy be thy name. How can it be holy to you and you don't know it? Interesting, isn't it? There are a lot more interesting questions than that about that situation. But when you begin to read your Bible, as I call this to your attention, you will discover from the Old Testament of Genesis all the way through Revelations, it's all about the name of the Father. It's all about his name. But somebody got you calling some other kind of name other than the Father's name. And you don't know his name. And unless you learn his name, then you're never going to move from poverty to riches. And if you don't come into the knowledge of the name. Haven't you ever wondered why it is that you have the same God, have the same churches, and the same names that white people have? I mean, have you noticed? You do. Our people have the same, right? Isn't it strange how God always answers white people's prayers? And black folks' prayers don't seem to be the same magnitude. You know, you say, well, I get my prayers answered. Well, why don't you ever get answered to be the ruler? I mean, you know, my people are always on their knees in front of white people asking white people to let them be accepted. Why do you need to ask white people for acceptance? Why don't you just ask God? Doesn't your God have enough power to make you accepted? Why can't you be the people that everybody else wants to be among? Why are you always running after somebody else to be among them? What's wrong with your God? Why do you have to go around always on your knees with your hat in your hand begging for a job from white people? Why don't your God just give you some jobs? Oh, I have to ask you some serious questions, because white people move from poverty to riches every day. Huh? They come from Russia, they come from Europe, they come from England, they come from all over the world with nothing on the ship. Come and get in your neighborhood. Come with a buggy and a basket and a wagon and push it around in your neighborhood and move from poverty to riches out of your pockets. You live in the neighborhood and stay poor and just pray all the time. You prayed enough to rule all the world. So who is Yahweh? Yahweh is the God of the Bible. He's the God of the Hebrews. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heavens and the earth. Yahweh is the man that beat up on Pharaoh. Y'all remember how he put plagues in Egypt? That was Yahweh did that. Yahweh is the one that when Pharaoh got real sassy, he drowned him in the Red Sea. That's Yahweh who did it. Yahweh is the man that when Daniel refused to bow down to another nation and quit facing the east and praying, when he refused to stop praying to his God, which was Yahweh, they said, well, we're going to put you in the lion's den and starve them. Threw him in the lion's den. Yahweh locked the jaws of the lion. Lions could do him no harm. Rulers got scared. Came and got Daniel out and made him a ruler. Right? I just want you to know who Yahweh is. He made the sun, the moon, and the stars, all what you see and haven't seen. Okay. So who is Yahweh ben Yahweh? I am his son. I am his son. That's who I am. I am the son of Yahweh. I don't care who else is the son or who else they are. It makes me no difference. I'm not here tonight concerning myself with who is the son of who. I'm the son of Yahweh. I have to tell you who I am. Yahweh is my father. I am his son. What makes me his son? What makes me Yahweh's son is I do not have a will outside of his. I have no thoughts, no ideas, and no program outside of Yahweh. You'll find that all that I ever do, all that I've ever done, and all that I'm ever going to do is found right in the Bible, and it's traced right to his will. No exception. I take no credit for all that I have built. It's all in his name. Yuhei-Wafe. That's one of the things that make me his son. Also, I have no difference in his word. I only speak his words. Even the words I've spoken to you thus far, the principles of those words are all in the Bible. Every single one of them is found in the Bible. No exceptions. So I walk as he says walk. I talk as he says talk. I act as he says act. I do whatever he says do. I have no idea of doing it any other way. Those are the things that makes me his son. I obey his laws, his statutes, his judgments, his commandments. That's why I'm successful. He said in his holy word that if I obey his laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments, that he would make everything, all the works of my hand would prosper. So all the works of my hands, it's prospering. I'm telling you why. Now, what about you? You might say, well, if you're the son of Yahweh, can I be? Of course you can. Of course you can be the sons of Yahweh. Every one of you can be. Every one of you can be the daughters of Yahweh. All you have to do is like I do. Obey his will, just like I do. You automatically become. You believe on his name, then you have eternal life. There's no other name under heaven that you can be saved in other than God who created it. You can't be saved in no name but the name of the one who created everything. And he gave his son a name higher than all the angels in heaven. What's the name higher than all the names that the angels could possibly have? The Father's name. There can be no name higher than the Creator's. So the son has to come in his father's name. Just like if your name is Davis, then your father was named Davis. If your name is Smith, your father's name was Smith. My name is Yahweh, so my father's name is Yahweh. That's logical.
Know and rest your mind assured. Our eyes have seen his works before. And until my last days, 'tis Yahweh I will praise. Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. I certainly like to thank the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh for coming to us and teaching us who is Yahweh as no one else ever could do. Praise Yahweh. Also, I want to thank the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh for teaching us our true history, which used to be the world's best kept secret. Praise Yahweh. And now, a brief bio on the master teacher, the founder of the nation of Yahweh, the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Yahweh Ben Yahweh came to Miami, Florida alone in 1979 to become the spiritual leader and founder of the nation of Yahweh. Although he took a vow of poverty that same year, within 7 years, he guided the nation and those who followed his teachings and principles to amass an economic empire in the greater Miami area and throughout the United States worth over $250 million. Under his direction, the nation of Yahweh has grown to encompass disciples, followers, believers, and supporters in thousands of cities across the United States of America and indeed throughout the four corners of the earth. The University of Yahweh, for which he has established the curriculum and for which he has received great acclaim in educational excellence, currently has locations across the United States. The moral teachings of Yahweh Ben Yahweh is bringing about a change in the lives of individuals and causing them to take a different approach to life. This approach is based on the scripture which reads, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." Yahweh Ben Yahweh continues to give. That which he is given cannot be measured in monetary wealth. Yahweh Ben Yahweh has given the world the keys to success in life, politically, educationally, economically, socially, and spiritually. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge, the architect of the universe, the blessed and only potentate, the founder of the Nation of Yahweh. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh.
I'm building my kingdom with you who voluntarily receive me. Behold, I stand at your door and I knock. Some of you are sitting back in there, got your door all locked up, hollering out, who is it? I don't mind telling you, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. And I'm calling out and saying, there's a terrible storm, it's a severe storm headed your way. And it's called the fall of Satan. And this is the time of Jacob's trouble. I'm here to qualify all who want to live in this great city to be able to do so. All who want to live in holy Jerusalem. See, this was fine long as you could read it in the book, go to church, and everybody holler and scream and shout and go and give your offering and go home. I mean, this is fine. Talk all about heaven if you want to. And the deceivers have everybody in church believing when they die, they go into heaven. The reason he can get away with that is the preacher doesn't teach you that heaven is coming down to the earth. Huh? Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, honey, yeah. Yeah, read 2 Timothy 2:15 first. Read.
Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Okay, you got to study. Now let's go back to Revelation 21, and I'm going to show you that any preacher that told you that your grandma and your mama is in heaven lied. Because heaven ain't yet. It's not yet. Where you're going to live with Yahweh exists, but you're not going there unless you're generous. You're not going to live in it unless you're generous. Now let's go to Revelation chapter 21 and verse 1. Read.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea.
Now, what's beautiful about this is the replacement value. All that you think is heaven is going to pass away. Now you know what you think heaven is. Big bank account, big house, the car of your dream, your own private bar with every kind of liquor that your friends drink. So when they come in, you can show off. Huh? I mean, what would you like to drink, bruh? What's your flavor? Big time, you know what I mean? Bunch of bedrooms. I mean, you probably been fantasizing about that $100 million that was up there in Pennsylvania. You probably couldn't sleep for nights. Trying to just, boy, if I had those numbers, boy, what I could do for Yahweh. Some of you thought about praying and taking a flight. That's all right. Some of you thought about riding the bike up there.
Thought that would be all right too. Some of you thought about you'd hitchhike. But see, none of that's all right. You know, heaven, yacht, private jet. You know what I mean? Servants, don't have to work no more. Just big time money. I mean, money will solve every problem you have on this earth. Yeah, you think like that in this world. But all of what you think this heaven is on its way out. What kind of heaven is coming? It says a new earth. But see, that means what? See, you don't get to leave the earth while it's made over. It didn't say that. It just says what you think it is getting ready to pass away. And I can assure you, you won't be leaving. And when it gets cleaned up, you're going to have to help clean it. Yeah, you that's left to live in it, you'll be glad to clean the earth up and let's have some clear water again and clean air and healthy land again. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. But see, you have to get rid of the old mind and take on a new mind to go along with this new earth and this new heaven. And your mind has to be a perfect mind so that we'll have a perfect earth. See, heaven is perfect. So the only people that are going to really want to live in heaven and make the sacrifices necessary to live in heaven are generous people. Now this word generosity comes from the word I shared with you last week. What? Charity. Generosity is a synonym of charity. You have to be charitable. Huh? What verse? Colossians 3:14. It's all in the book. That's it. Can't get around it. Read.
And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness.
I told you. What is a bond? That's what holds you together. And that's why we're coming together in unity. We exhibit the only unity among black folk in America. And our love may not be perfect, but I'm teaching you perfect love. I'm teaching you how to love perfectly. So you haven't known how. And me telling you is not enough. You'll never be perfect in your love with me telling you. I have to show you how. And you've never known how. So my message is alien to this world's knowledge. My message tonight is strange to this world's thinking. And you have to be a special kind of person to be attracted to what I'm teaching tonight. Because after all, this is a very precious revelation. And it's not meant for everybody. This message is meant for the servants of Yahweh. Those who want to be the servants. That's who this message is for tonight. Now you who don't want to be the servants of Yahweh, we'll get you on the backside. See, don't worry, I got a place for you. You may not like the place I have for you, but I still got one. See, I have a lot of different places for people. I have a lot of different positions for people. Sometimes sometimes when I try people in the kingdom of Yahweh, I try people out in different positions, And I know that some people say, I'll do anything for Yahweh until I give them certain positions. Then I find out that I have to let them see they didn't mean what they said. I know from the beginning that when people talk, they don't always know what they're saying. But I endure it anyway. I let them say it, and they think they're fooling me, and I give them a position, and they didn't mean anything for Yahweh. Because see, anything is big. You know, sometimes anything is all-encompassing. Some people say, whatever, and then I give them whatever. And then they act like they don't like whatever. Sometimes I give people a job that they say they like. And then they come back to me later and start saying, well, I really didn't know what I was saying. I thought I liked that. So then I have mercy and I switch them off. What else do you think you like? And if they name it, I'll give them that too. Because see, I'm building a kingdom. In the kingdom is every kind of job that you can think of. I mean, there's no limit to your jobs. I have a job for everybody on the planet Earth. In all the galaxies, I have a job for everybody. Intergalactic jobs. But right now, I'm really looking for those who want the job of being a servant of Yahweh. Because they predicate what heaven is to become. It is with the servants of Yahweh that I will establish.
Know and rest your mind assured. Our eyes have seen his works before. And until my last days, 'tis Yahweh I will praise. Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. Whew. Talking about a message. Do you want the job? Do you want to be a servant of Yahweh? Do you want to put on a new mindset? Get rid of that old mindset and relocate for a job, for the job, relocate to New Jerusalem for the job. The Most Honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh told him he got jobs, all kinds of jobs, intergalactic jobs. We want to work for Yahweh. Well, I know I want to work for Yahweh. I'm doing my best to work for Yahweh now, period. Because that's where it's at. Being a servant of the Most High, Yahweh. And he sent his son to show us just how. This message is so powerful. We have a lot to talk about when we get to Power Talk. But first, word from our sponsors. Praise Yahweh. Shalom Aleichem family. This YouTube channel needs your help. As you know, good works in this world will never be monetized. So I'm asking that the supporters, followers, true believers, and disciples of Yahweh to help this channel to continue to publish the good works and the fame of the Most High, Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. How much do you love Yahweh? Put your money where your heart is and be blessed. And now, your video.
What do all these people have in common besides a beautiful smile, healthy teeth, and gums? They all use Zodi toothpaste. Zodi toothpaste is made with all natural ingredients. Zodi toothpaste is fortified with moringa and baking soda. Zodi toothpaste is suds-free, making it an excellent choice for kids. All natural, fortified, and suds-free. Get yours today at noystore.com.
Praises unto Yahweh, and Yahweh be Yahweh. From the nation of Yahweh,
YahwehRadio.com. YahwehRadio.com.
step on into
YahwehRadio.com.
Let nobody
turn me away from Yahweh.
YahwehRadio.com.
Yahweh ben Yahweh is a great God and a great King above
YahwehRadio.com.
Neo Jazz School of Music, creating space for young people to express and to grow. Now with 2 locations, New Orleans and Miami. Enroll today at neojazz.org.
Yahweh Virtual University has completed its beta phase. We are so thankful to Yahweh for all of our supporters because we could not have done it without you. We are excited to say that our beta phase was a true success. Those that participated in our beta testing enjoyed self-paced and interactive learning online, live online classes with our YVU teachers, assistance with structuring and setting up their homeschool. Our students had so much fun learning with their classmates, and they enjoyed daily homework and so much more. During our beta phase, we gathered useful information and feedback from all of you. According to the needs of our children and our nation as a whole, we received a large amount of requests for online learning to support children between the ages of 8 and 15, as well as online classes for parents and adults. We at Yahweh Virtual University heard you loud and clear. In order to provide these much needed requests, and because we are a small team, we have paused our online classes for now and are back in our building phase. Again, we are truly thankful to all of our supporters, and we want you to know that we are taking this duty to rescue our future very seriously. Please visit our website for more updates and be blessed. Praise Yahweh forever.
Praise Yahweh. As always, there's a lot of things going on in the nation of Yahweh. The nation of Yahweh is strong. The nation of Yahweh is growing. The nation of Yahweh there will never be an end to the nation of Yahweh. That's like saying Yahweh is going to end. Just not going to happen. Yahweh has his children here, his seed, his biological family of Yahweh here. The descendants of Adam are here now to do Yahweh's bidding, to do Yahweh's service, to be in service of Yahweh. And that's the job. Do you want the job? That's the gig. Serve Yahweh. And to serve Yahweh, you have to qualify. To work for New Jerusalem, to live in New Jerusalem, to be in New Jerusalem, you have to qualify. And Yahweh ben Yahweh came in the flesh to qualify us. That's part of the redeeming package. To be able to live with Yahweh means that we have to be qualified. And part of the qualifications is to be generous, which is a synonym of charity. And you know you can't enter into heaven without being charitable, without being generous. And so we give freely in the service of Yahweh. We serve him through our studies. 2 Timothy 2:15, we have to be approved. That's part of the qualifications to get the job. You know, every job have job descriptions, and you have to qualify to do this job. Well, to serve Yahweh, you have to qualify too. And Yahweh ben Yahweh sacrificed his life to qualify us. But the thing is, you got to want it. You got to want to live in New Jerusalem. You got to want to qualify. You got to want to be a servant. You know, being enslaved in this country for the last 500 years and being subject to the devil's deceptions for the last 6,000 years, you know, we don't understand about being servants. Last thing we want to be is a servant. We want to be rich. We want to have servants. We want people to do for us, and we sit back on the porch and drink lemonade and, you know, and watch our fields and the people out there working them for us. You know, we don't want to serve no more. We did that.
It's an amazing thing that they did to
It's amazing.
The mindsets of how we relate to this idea of being in service of, you know, and that was the hoodwink. That was the thing that happened. And I like and appreciate that Yahweh ben Yahweh came to qualify us to serve him. And I want to take just a little bit of a look into this word qualify because it's very interesting. If you go to the dictionary.com, the word qualify means to provide with proper or necessary skills, knowledge, credentials, etc. Make competent.
So you got to have a new mindset.
You got to have a new mindset. I want to repeat that because that's pretty deep here. To provide with a proper or necessary skills, knowledge, credentials, etc. Make competent.
Make competent. You know, that's the resurrection of Abel is to make us able, because Cain was incompetent. And he, listening to his father, and we being subjected to his knowledge, have become incompetent just like he is.
So in that, inherent in this thought is that incompetence cannot live in the great city, holy Jerusalem.
Nope. You got to be competent.
You got to be competent. And we have to also be competent enough to realize that the things that we once considered was heaven,
right, is not heaven.
Is not heaven. And it's really interesting when you take a look at charity too, because qualifying and charity, all these words have some interesting ties together, but go right ahead.
Well, let's talk about competent for a minute, because your qualifications, these are the qualifications that you have to have if you're going to be competent. You know, if you're going to be able to accept a job, you got to be able to be competent. So when we go to that word in the dictionary, we go into it. I'm not as fast as Sister Tamara.
I got you.
I don't know why she just started, but that's okay. I'm still looking for it.
Okay. Competent, having suitable or sufficient skill.
Having sufficient skills. So it's all about having those skills that Yahweh ben Yahweh came to give us. Go ahead.
Having suitable or sufficient skill, knowledge, experience, etc., for some purpose. Properly qualified.
Properly, to be competent is to be properly qualified. Yahweh ben Yahweh, the first thing he said is he's here to qualify us to live in New Jerusalem, to enter into heaven. He said all those preachers that came before lied to us, saying that people were in heaven and heaven is not yet. He said it's built, but we're not qualified to go there unless you're generous, unless you're charitable.
And it's really, I find it interesting that we started with name in 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh.
That sounds like a qualifier.
That's that process of becoming qualified.
Becoming competent.
A workman.
So you got to work.
Needed not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Part of your job is dividing the word of truth from Satan's lies. So that's dividing from the knowledge of the tree of good and evil and only going by the tree of life. And that's the division.
And don't you find it interesting that Yahweh ben Yahweh drew the comparison of what we consider to be heaven?
Right.
What we consider to be heaven. You know, this is the thing that we got to recognize. Having this level of competence is having the sound mindedness to understand that the illusions of the things that we've been given.
Absolutely.
That the illusions is a distraction from what is truly heaven.
Well, let's think about some of those distractions. You say you want to have your nice house, big old house, and a nice car, and a bar with all your liquor so you can show out to your friends. You know, when they come over, what you want, what you need, I got whatever. You know, and I remember growing up and seeing family members do stuff like that. They really are proud of little things, little accomplishments like a stocked out bar in your house, which you got a few different, you know, you got your guys over, it's a little tiny bar, ain't nothing spectacular, and they just proud of it. It's like it's heaven.
But the reality of it is,
That's why that was so funny.
this is a lifestyle that's being has been manufactured to keep you into these lies of what is heaven.
Well, think about it. When you're living in hell and you in hell, and the hellish people who run hell teach you that heaven is
heaven.
Having you a bar and all the liqueurs and the stuff you want to drink is heaven, because that's what we do over here and you can't do it. So now you want to do what they do, your slave masters do, and you want to have the clubs and the bars and the restaurants. You want to see, you see the Italians, they always got a restaurant. You want to do that. You think of heaven, you equate heaven to what you see that others have that you don't have.
And what tends to happen with that is then all of your efforts and energies, what job or work that you do, the things that you purchase, how and where you live. Some of us don't have a choice in where we live because of the conditions that we were brought up in.
Right.
But the reality of it is most folks, and you see this because the television and social media and all these media platforms are providing you and providing us with this lifestyle that we think is supposed to be the way.
Think it's heaven.
When in reality, all of this is the sleight of the hand.
Absolutely.
Right? This is somebody giving you what you think you want, when in reality they've taken away so much more from you. The things that are that have real value and worth, we are no longer in control of those resources,
or even interested in being in control,
or even interested in being in control of the land. Not even your labor.
You don't even want to be in control of that. You'd rather have a job than that.
So this illusion and the sleight of the hand lifestyle that we've been given is what has been keeping us from achieving a true heavenly mindset.
Well, to break it down, the devil, your oppressor, has taught you that his lifestyle is heaven. When, if you notice, you can get all the money, like Yahweh Ben Yahweh talked about, you can win the lottery and get all this money. And, you can get some things and stuff like that. But your mindset of what heaven is based on what you see your oppressors doing. So all you want to do is join that group and do what they're doing. And that has nothing to do with heaven. Actually, it's the opposite.
It is the opposite
of heaven. It's gluttony, it's
selfishness.
It's selfishness, it's abundance, for no, you get more than enough, where the people next door to you are starving and you got enough to make everybody in the whole neighborhood eat, but you don't give nothing to nobody, no charity, no generosity.
And that brings us to Colossians 3:14. And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness.
Ooh, the bond of perfect. That's where your perfectness sticks, when you put on charity. That's that bond between you and perfection.
And that's the thing that divides those of us who have heavenly mindsets. It's not above you to help someone in need. It's not above you to be generous in your actions, donate and to aid people who are poor, or ill, or needy. It's not above you to do that. It's not above you for your work to be rooted in giving back. It's not above you to build out the waste places. It's not above you to pick up that trash you see in your neighborhoods, because that's what charity looks like. It's that love of all the things that you have around you, and the people in the community, and even, your family. Yes, sir.
Well, what you're describing is the building of heaven. Like you said, right now, we're seeing the destruction of hell. We're seeing that the devil's world is being destroyed. all of the prophecies and revelation and are unfolded in front of our eyes right now, and we're seeing the destruction of the devil, and his world is over. You know, it's not coming back. America never be great again. It will not. It's just reality. So once the devil is destroyed by the Creator, Yahweh, the Most High, it is our duty to repair and clean up the earth and dress and keep the earth once again, just like the first commandment given to Adam. And Adam lived, hundreds of thousands of years with a clean and dressed earth, with nothing wrong on the earth. The earth was paradise. Even when Lucifer was put into this paradise, he had no control over it until Yahweh put Adam to sleep.
And Yahweh Ben Yahweh is here qualifying us, giving us the necessary preconditions to become that, to become the children of Yahweh. We are already that, but because we had fallen asleep, we were put to sleep.
We have been awakened by Yahweh, who came in the flesh to awaken us. Now the lion is awake now.
And this word qualify or even qualifications, if you look into its etymological context, it leads you to the understanding that someone who has been qualified has been adapted to a particular circumstance or employment. So you are adapted to build heaven.
That's right.
Your work and your walk of life is already preconditioned to build heaven.
So you're qualified through your studies of the word of the tree of life, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, and your service begins with you and your studies, and then your transition from Satan's world is paying your tithes, paying 10 and 10. Yahweh Ben Yahweh gave us divine formulas that if we follow these formulas, it's like baking a cake with the right recipe. You're going to get a delicious cake every single time. If you follow the recipe and follow the instructions, you will succeed. These are divine formulas that Yahweh Ben Yahweh gave us. If you study, you will see Yahweh. If you study with a pure mind, a pure heart, really wanting to live in New Jerusalem, wanting to serve Yahweh, wanting to do the job of the greatest servants. I mean, we talk about the earth is our responsibility. That's the greatest servant I can think of. Outside of our Father Yahweh Ben Yahweh, the greatest servants are the ones who want to dress and keep the earth. You know how big this earth is? And you know how dirty it is from the devil's 6,000 or 6-day rule and reign over it. You know how, we need a bunch of brooms, some mops, and we got to clean up.
and that's what charitable is. That's that highest manifestation of love. See, when we look at that by comparison to the character and nature of Yahweh, the highest manifestation of love was that he created us. The highest manifestation of love is that he created clean air, clean water, and all the things that we need to exist, set all the proper conditions for our existence.
Created all the ecosystems.
That is the highest manifestation of love there is. And our duty is to follow suit. So we're living and we're occupying spaces where the conditions are bad. Well, guess what, family? We have the ability, the duty, the charge, if you're qualified, the preconditions to change that.
If you qualify yourself. Yahweh is giving you the precondition and the set nature to have this highest manifestation of love and create the proper environment. And you don't qualify by saying the words, I'm qualified.
You got to go out and do the work.
You got to do the work. You qualify. You're known by what you do. You're not known by what you say. You're known by what you do. And what is asked for you to do right now, what Yahweh is asking you to do right now is support the works of the nation of Yahweh. Support the works of that which Yahweh ben Yahweh founded and ordained. And see, Yahweh Nation Building Institute is a collection of the teachings of the Most Honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh, and packaged in a way to where it's broken down for basic understanding of what I need to do physically, what I need to do in my life, what I need to change, what organizations I need to be in, how do I fit into these cooperative businesses that the children of Yahweh are beginning to cooperate and start. The Nation of Yahweh Nation Building Institute is a hub for us to come together, learn how to work together in the spirit of Yahweh from the teachings of Yahweh ben Yahweh, and pool our resources, start collective cooperative businesses all around the country and indeed the world eventually, and dress and keep the earth. That's what it's all about. So right now, it's a situation that the children of Yahweh are building. We're building an institute of knowledge that contains the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh. Can't go to Harvard to get this wisdom. You can't go to Yale. Can't go to Cambridge or Oxford. You can't go to none of these so-called prestigious universities that cost $100,000 a semester to learn the devil's knowledge.
Wow.
And all the while, none of that knowledge can get us out of the conditions that we're in. If you notice, all these so-called millionaires and all that, they still in the same conditions of oppression that we're in. There's nothing different except they got a Maserati and I got a Nova.
They still make those? It is now time for Power Talk, family. We invite you to join us in conversation. We have set the lines where if you're on Zoom, you can press the microphone to unmute yourself. If you are dialed in, all you have to do is press *6 to unmute. And I do believe we have a code.
I don't think they have any. They make those cars anymore.
Oh, they don't?
I don't think
Okay.
so.
We do have a caller with their line unmuted. Boca Tove, you are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom, Boca Tove. This brother said down
Boca
here in
Tove.
Miami. But Dr. Lou, what you know about them Novas? You know about them Novas? Remember them Novas?
Yes, sir. I had one.
Yes, sir. Back in the days. Oh man, first giving thanks and praises to our Father Yahweh, Yudhe for sending Yudhe betting on Sophie Yudhe. Yes, Dr. Lou, Sister Tamar, I appreciate this, the unfolding light, and we're growing daily. We're growing weekly. And I see the numbers of the participants just going up and going up. And we have continued to spread the word, spread the gospel of Christ. Because we truly have met someone. See, you can't learn this in church and go to school to learn this knowledge. You have to have met someone. And we have met God, the Son of God. We experienced the life, the birth, life, death, and resurrection of God, the Son of God, in us. In us. We have the gospel of Christ. So now it's time for us to spread this gospel so the world will see Yahweh ben Yahweh in us, in the clouds, in the high cloud, where the world will see. And it's not for everybody. Like Yahweh always said, it's not for everybody. It's for those that are going to receive. Those that receive. To them, he give power to become the sons and daughters of Yahweh. And it's all about being a servant. Because Matthew 23:11 says, the greatest among you will be your servant. It's Matthew 23:11. And like y'all always said, we been tricked to die to go somewhere. Why we gotta die to go somewhere? Y'all said we bringing heaven down to us. We bringing it down to earth. And it could be in America with it's New Jerusalem, with USA is in Jerusalem. Or it could be Sodom and Gomorrah. We always have to destroy it by fire. It's all of our choice. But what we gonna do? We gonna turn it into New Jerusalem, America to New Jerusalem, or we gonna let it go to Sodom and Gomorrah? But Yahweh Ben Yahweh came and opened that book, and he took that book, and all those who received that book, those words, and ate those words. See, we have to go tell the world, show the world. It says we shall overcome by the word of the testimony of our mouth. See, that gospel that we have concerning the birth, life, death, and resurrection of Yahweh Ben Yahweh in you, in me, and all those that receive, and we come together as one. The kingdom that Yahweh set up, he said it's gonna never be destroyed, but it's gonna break in pieces. And we're gonna consume all kingdoms. Everyone I come around and testify to. That's why I'm so behind on my work. You know, I'm not too behind, but I can be done a lot faster than I'm doing. But I'm out testifying. If I got an ear that's gonna listen, I'm gonna talk about the works of Yahweh Ben Yahweh, because I'm not smart. I didn't figure this out. I met somebody, and we met somebody, and I let them know it's Yahweh Ben Yahweh who I've met, and he's got to get all the credit. See, the world knows Yahweh. The world knows Yahweh. People in Africa, they say Yahweh, and Catholics, and it's Yahweh Ben Yahweh that's got to get the credit for coming to us. His royal priesthood. We're his, but it ain't for everybody's, and it don't take everybody. You just take a few. We gonna get the masses, but just take the few to communicate, to call one another, reach out, to exhort one another daily, to edify one another, and to rebuke when necessary. So we have to apply all these principles and all these teachings of Yahweh Ben Yahweh and study, and we have to show tangible and intangible. See, Yahweh brought the tangible into existence as a sign of the intangible that's within us, that he put within us. And we was growing and growing and growing and growing. Man, I had it made. You hear me? I had it made. I came to Yahweh with no children. I have 6 children in Yahweh. 6. And I have a total of 9 children altogether and 17 grandchildren. 13 of them are grandsons. And I'm a plumber. I'm a plumber. I do plumbing work. And I let everybody know that I associate with. It's about global domination. Dominating the world globally. Dominating yourself first. Dominating yourself. And it's about global domination. Working with one another. Networking. You know, trying the spirit with the spirit. All these things we got to do.
Yes, sir. We certainly do. Praise
Yahweh said he want to be around those that want peace. Huh? I want peace. I want peace. And we got to be the servant. The greatest among you is the servant. So I want to be great. So I'm going to keep on serving.
Yes, sir.
Praise Yahweh.
Thank y'all. And I love you.
Love you too, brother. Praise Yahweh.
I thank Yahweh. I thank Yahweh for your service. I thank Yahweh for your spirit.
And being generous, you got to show readiness to give something as of money or time more than strictly as necessary or expected. So to be in New Jerusalem, you got to be ready to give your money and your time.
Yes, sir, we do. Yes, sir, you
Huh?
do. And we do
You have
have
to be
callers
ready.
lining up. You didn't incite a riot. So
Praise Yahweh, ben
praise
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
and let's come together, family. One God, one mind, one love, so we can do one action.
And
Huh?
praise, yes, sir. Praise Yahweh. I thank you for those comments, brother. We do have another
We
caller.
actually have two callers. I believe Sister Zabia was up next, and then we have our Sister Kagi waiting in line.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Praise Yahweh ben Yahweh, who is Yahweh in the flesh as the Son. Sister Zabia Bira calling in today from Holiday, renamed Holy Day, Florida. And I am so excited and appreciative, Sister Tamar and Brother Lude, for the sharing on the word qualify. And I would like to offer a few synonyms and a couple of scriptures on that. Some of just a few synonyms for qualify are certify, enable, and empower. Yahweh ben Yahweh has taught us on another class that he didn't come to give it to us. He came to reveal it to us, and he taught us that we already have it. And as you both have been teaching this morning, we've just been deceived and hoodwinked, and all that we have that was perfect from Yahweh was corrupted. So we have to go through that process of getting it back. And that's 2 Timothy 2:15, as you shared as well. And our Father taught us in his divine mathematics book that 2 Timothy 2:15 governs our behavior. And the scriptures that I'd like to share as far as qualifying goes right along with what you all were sharing today. The first one is 2 Corinthians 13:5. And it reads, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith, prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahweh ben Yahweh is in you, except ye be reprobates? And the other scripture I'd like to share is 1 Corinthians 11. Is this the one? Just a sec. Let's go with 1 John 1:9. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. So it's about making ourselves holy for Yahweh. He's not going to accept us dirty. And he taught us that we have to be able to qualify ourselves for the new heaven. Why is there a need for a new heaven? Well, we most of us know that the old heaven was corrupted. Corruption set in. So the new heaven is Yahweh ben Yahweh's ensuring that it won't be penetrable. It will not be, you will not be able to make it unholy. It will remain holy. And that's going to come back to that hedge that he put from the beginning. And it's going to come to us being obedient and listening. And since we've experienced the other fella, I don't think most of us have a problem with that. We now know that this fellow doesn't give care about us. And we know now that our Father Yahweh ben Yahweh truly loves us. Praise Yahweh ben Yahweh. And thank you so much for allowing me to share. And Shabbat Shalom.
Praise Yahweh.
Thank Yahweh for enabling you and qualifying you to share that wisdom, knowledge, and great understanding of the word of Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. And we do have another caller.
We do. Sister Kagi, you are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Gonna get you to unmute yourself, sis, if you're able.
Hello. Am I
All
heard?
right. Yeah.
All right. Both of toes. Shabbat shalom. First, give all praises to Yahweh being Yahweh, praise Yahweh for everyone this morning. Listening to Yahweh being Yahweh teach, he said something that it really like rang some bells in my head. He said, some of you will say you'll do anything for Yahweh until he give you something to do and you don't like it. Now, when we pray to Yahweh, we say our lives and our deaths all for thee, O Yahweh. And see, me, I take that very seriously because there is so much work to be done in Yahweh. And we don't have the people to do it. And some of them who want to do it or tell themselves they want to do it, when you have to do certain things, then you don't want to do it. But you will go to work on your job and have somebody you don't even like and somebody who don't even like you tell you to do something that you don't want to do, and you'll do it. So for me, that hit the core, because when you really want to do any and everything you can do for Yahweh, he will put you in a place where you're able to do that and push you to that limit. And he'll test you. And you have to be ready and qualified to receive when he wants you to. So that, I just wanted to pinpoint and highlight that and leave everyone with a question. Are you really ready to work for Yahweh? Are you ready to do anything for him? Ask yourself that and answer that question with an open mind and an open heart, because many of us who say we are and we're really gung-ho and excited, that's a big job, because there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot to do. And that's from top to bottom. It's not all like, oh yeah, I'm working for Yahweh, I'm gonna do this. Oh yeah. You never know what Yahweh needs you to do, because there's so much that needs to be done. So just ask yourself that. Wonderful class. Yahweh being Yahweh always talks to me personally in his teachings, and I love it. And I love you all too, Toda, for sharing this message today. And every Saturday. So Toda, praise Yahweh for allowing me to share this. I love you all.
Praise Yahweh.
Yeah, thank Yahweh for giving you the wisdom to share and for you sharing. Praise Yahweh.
Indeed. And that resonated with me. We got a little feedback. That resonated with me because it stuck out to me too, sis, that you say you do anything for Yahweh until he actually give you something to do. Then you want to run away, or that ain't what you want to do. And yes, that is a big thing. We have to be prepared and ready to serve Yahweh, how he created you to serve. So we do have a caller who is trying to get off mute. Let's see if we're ready. Caller with your line unmuted. You are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Praise Yahweh. Praise Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, our King, our Messiah, our Deliverer, our Savior. Praise Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. A wonderful class. This is Sister Yochebed Sarah Yisrael Bath Yahweh, which means daughter of Yahweh, as we all know. And family, I got caught up in the word heaven. It's very interesting, the word heaven, because if you look it up, it basically will tell you a lot of things, but I focused on a condition or place of great happiness, delight, or pleasure. And the example given is the lake was heaven. Interesting, they didn't say the clouds floating above our head is housed with, some kind of illustrious heavenly place. The example given is somewhere here on earth. And I remember going on a vacation when I was living in a city. People go on vacation just to be in touch with what? Nature. You go on vacation to be able to go to the beach, to go on mountains, hiking, and to be in contact with nature. Why? Because the frequencies in nature are pure. It's heavenly. You're away from all of the hustle and bustle of the electronics and things like that. You feel Yahweh's energy. And so I just wanted to share a scripture concerning that, and it is Revelations 21:3-4 states, "And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God Yahweh is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their God. And God Yahweh shall wipe away all tears." Tears, family, means is G 1141 in the Greek concordance, in the Greek lettering of the word, and it tells you that is tears is uncertainty. Uncertainty. See, all the world is so uncertain about everything. This is the condition of disease. This is a condition of being in a frequency of uncertainty. You're not sure of what's coming in the future when you're not connected to Yahweh. Okay, so Yahweh shall wipe away all tears, all uncertainty from their eyes. Eyes is G 3700 in the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. It means the eye, or figuratively by implication, vision, figuratively envy, the jealous side glance, eyesight. See, the uncertainty causes your eyes now to see things in a distortion. You're looking at everyone in a distorted way. You're thinking, oh, there's a problem here, there's a problem there, and there may not be. So all of this is happening because guess what? We do have to be aware and watch for the enemy today because he still exists. But Yahweh's going to wipe all of that away. So he's going to wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, family, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. The former things, everything that was in existence before, is going to be wiped away. Yahweh said, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be today. I say this all the time. Yahweh had to wipe away everything because everything was corrupted. Every single thing was corrupted. So in order to come out and pass away, we have to give up all of the things, all former things. So praise Yahweh, and I pray everyone's eyes are open to see what is corrupt and what is not, and what the heavenly condition we need to be in by just going back to what Yahweh created and letting go of what man has created. Thank you so much, family, for letting me share. Love you so much. Praise Yahweh ben Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
Thank Yahweh for letting you share and giving you the Constitution to share. Praise Yahweh. I love everything that our family has been sharing today. And we're just pulling all the pieces together and really making this light be lifted up so that we can have this perfect understanding.
Right. And it's about an understanding, because wisdom and knowledge are the principal things. Therefore, get wisdom. But with all that getting, get understanding. And we do have another caller.
Caller with your line unmuted. You are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Praise Yahweh ben Yahweh, Brother Goodell. And I just want to share a little bit of what Yahweh blessed me to see this morning. Of course, study is one of our foundation scriptures, 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show yourself approved unto God, Yahweh, a workman needed not to be ashamed of rightly dividing the word of truth. And the word of truth, you have also the word true. And I want to share a couple of definitions of another word before I get or complete or finish off with the word truth. And that word came to me at the end of what Yahweh ben Yahweh's what message that he was sharing with us. He said, establish. And establish took me to bring into being on a firm or permanent basis. And this is what Yahweh ben Yahweh is establishing with us. He's bringing us into firm and permanent bases. As we are the chief rulers, then we are to lead in righteousness, and we are being put into that rightful position as we speak. And then it also took me to found. Establish took me to found, and we know that Yahweh ben Yahweh is the founder of the nation of Yahweh. And Yahweh ben Yahweh also found us, each and every one of us, as we were lost without the knowledge of Yahweh. And in quotations, or I guess, or an example of establish, it says to establish a university. Of course, Yahweh ben Yahweh is doing that as we, 2 Timothy 2:15, individually, as an individual, as well as our family and our nation, and as we come together. All of that's a part of establishing the university of Yahweh. So I went to university, and university said an institution that offers instruction at a regular college level and beyond. Of course, we know Yahweh ben Yahweh is not limited to that college level because that is of the world, but we are just using that as an example. We are beyond. The knowledge of Yahweh is beyond any university that exists. So I jump back over to establish, and establish is to set up or settle securely in a position, in a place, in a business for Yahweh. Very important. Not just any business, not just any position, not just any place, but in the place, in a position, in a business for Yahweh. It also suggested or recommended, or for an example, to help, he helped to establish his son in the grocery business. Now that's just an example. And when we look at that as well, we look at if you're growing and producing and self-sufficient and independent of your own supplies, whatever those supplies may be, food, clothing, shelter, water, whatever it is, Yahweh ben Yahweh is establishing that so that we can be that chief ruler and teach and show and demonstrate to the world who we really are as being a firm foundation, the tribe of Judah. It also said to cause to be accepted or recognized, bring about permanently. And that Yahweh ben Yahweh is doing. Another example, and I'm about to close out, is to establish a new way of doing something. And we know that the way Yahweh ben Yahweh is doing, has taught us, and is going to do and bring about is totally new to the world. So the last definition I'd like to share with everyone is to show. And this is basically, of course, establish again. To show, to be true. And that just blew my mind. And then it said prove. And as we study 2 Timothy 2:15, we have to prove ourselves to Yahweh ben Yahweh, not to anybody else. So praise Yahweh ben Yahweh, family. Thank you for letting me share, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Praise Yahweh. I thank you for sharing. And Sister Tamar, you have something you want to share with our family?
Indeed, indeed. So Builders of the Highway Foundation, the Nation of Yahweh and Builders of the Highway Foundation would like to invite you to come out and enjoy a fun-filled day at CB Park in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
CB Smith.
I'm sorry, CB Smith Park in Pembroke Pines, Florida, for food, family, and fun, music, games, and even get some fishing in. So this is going to be on Sunday, September 3rd from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, we are inviting our family to come out and do a fellowship, have fun, maybe even do some fishing, feed yourself on Sunday, September 3rd from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. At CB Smith Park.
And while we're at it, final thoughts.
Wow, a lot of information our father shared, a lot of sharing from our family. This has been an amazing conversation. And I'm just excited to be in position to get qualified. You know, being qualified is an important part of the process, and just not being captured by those illusions of other stuff. So I'm just grateful to Yahweh that we are able to gain this knowledge, this information, and be qualified and not be caught up in the illusion.
Praise Yahweh. And the illusion is that you die and you go to heaven. So I always thought if that was true, why everybody ain't trying to die? Why everybody trying to do everything but die? Because they don't want to go to heaven? Well, the reality of it is you got to qualify to go to heaven. And that's the final thought of the day. Remember, you have to qualify. Yahweh Ben Yahweh is here qualifying us. So we have to do what he commands us to do to be qualified. And then we get our first class ticket. You know, there's no other class tickets. They're only first class tickets to get into the city. You know, yeah. Praise Yahweh. And so that brings us to the conclusion of this episode of The Unfolding Light. Make sure you join us next week for another episode of Unfolding Light, where we continue to get together and unfold the light. Praise Yahweh. That brings us to the end of this episode of The Unfolding Light. Please join us next week for another episode of The Unfolding Light. And now, if everybody will stand and face the east with outstretched hand, as we close out this episode with a prayer, the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Tefillah. Avenu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Tavo Malkuterika, Yad Zerizonka, Kim Bashemayim Kain Ba'aretz, Et Lekam Kukenu, Tain Lanu Hayom, Uslat Lanu, All Kartienu, Kimosasol King, Gamanatnu, Lakotiem Lanu, Veal Tevienu, Lade Nisayon, King Kal Senu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tefieret, Leolame, Olamin Sila. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. So let everything that has breath praise Yahweh. And always remember, Yahweh loves you, Yahweh Ben Yahweh loves you, and so does the nation of Yahweh. Shabbat Shalom, family.
Thank you for joining The Unfolding Light, presented by the Nation of Yahweh. If you have any comments or questions, please email us at info@thenationofyhwh.com. Follow us online at thenationofyahweh.com, theunfoldinglight.com, and at yahwehbenyahweh.biz. Get social with us. Follow the Nation of Yahweh on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, do remember to pay Yahweh and yourselves first, and don't touch it, as instructed by the Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. You can send your tithes, donations, and offerings to the Nation of Yahweh at P.O. Box 555-115, Orlando, Florida 32855. And be blessed continually, according to Malachi chapter 3, verse 10. Praise Yahweh. Shalom, shalom.
Stop your crying. Stop your crying. It's gonna be
you see, Yahweh Ben Yahweh is here now. Well, he's a man with a wonderful, wonderful life. You'll be praying all night long. Well, cause you see, you don't know if you're gonna get up in the morning and lose your home. Well, cause you see, I got all these children going on, and I don't want them to starve. And that's why you got to go and bow down to somebody who ain't God, a man on your job. Well, yeah. The mighty God is here now. The Son. I'm talking about the Son, Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. So you can quit all this foolishness and going on, but we living in a brand new day. Well, stop your moaning. It's gonna be alright. Stop your groaning, children. It's gonna be alright. Stop your crying. You don't have to have no more kids. Cause you see, Yahweh, when Yahweh came, round about dawn this time, it's short our years. Well, stop your begging. It's time to do your part. And quit being lazy, my children. That it's time to stop. Stop doing what you want to do. And start doing the things you're supposed to do. Get up off of your knees and be so good. Study real hard because he said you know you could. Well, be the way he wants you to be because he said he know you can. He want all the sisters to join together and be woman and all the brothers to be man. And I know that everything